What's up guys, Jose here, and I'm going to be looking at the Marvel Rivals new Horde mode, the Marvel Zombies PVE. So this isn't Marvel Rivals' first new kind of game mode that they've introduced. We've actually had a couple of them. We've had the Chinese New Year soccer match, the Ultron kind of chess game, the I guess it wasn't really a tower defense, but it was more of a free-for-all kind of mode in Tokyo, and that was like the big head kind of gaming mode. And we also had the Sanctum Sanctorum kind of battle royale mode as well. So this one though feels like the first attempt by NetEase and the devs at Marvel Rivals to kind of introduce something that is kind of rooted in the comic origins of Marvel, especially the more what if area, because we're already looking at kind of temporal time dilations, multiverse style kind of gameplay, because Marvel Rivals itself exists outside of what is standard canon in Marvel Comics. Now, Marvel Zombies was introduced a while ago, and if you haven't read that comic series, I highly recommend it. It's really good. The art style is kind of gruesome, but it is kind of really cool looking. If you're not a fan of reading the comics, I recommend the What If episode of Marvel Zombies and the limited series that they've also released alongside that. Because I feel like a lot of what is introduced in this game mode was more highly how do I say it, was more inspired by the shows than by the comics, but there's still a lot of the aesthetic that's there. So the game actually has a story inside of it, believe it or not, for a game mode like this. So you start off in New York and you're headed towards Avengers Tower to basically stop the Queen of the Damned, which is Scarlet Witch, from kind of taking over and unleashing her zombie horde on all of New York. You are essentially taking the same route that you would from Grand Central Station that you would take on the convoy mission, all the way into what essentially is the end of the mission at Avengers Tower. But what's different is it's more of an open space, so you have a larger area to kind of fight these hordes of zombies that are coming in. You play as one of 5 different heroes, so you get to choose from Punisher, Magic, Blade, Thor, and Jeff the Landshark. Kind of a weird mixed bag, but also kind of fun. It is essentially a couple of different characters that are more DPS from either mid to long range, and kind of a mixed character with Blade because he can kind of play on both sides, and then more up close characters with like Magic and Thor. So within the first few difficulties, it is actually a progressive story that you're moving from one point to the other. You start off in a corner and going into Grand Central Station, and the whole story itself is kind of a fun little, you have to defeat wave, and then you go up into the next round and you'll defeat another wave of zombies, and then you get like progressively harder and harder zombies that will start appearing, until you get to a point where you're fighting the first mini boss, or the first, I guess, halfway boss, which is Namor, who will release his different octopi throughout Grand Central Station that you have to essentially defeat, because you're not able to attack him initially. You have to just basically destroy his octopus minions to wear him down to finally attack him. After you defeat him, you will move forward till you hit the end at Avengers Tower, where you are actually fighting Scarlet Witch, which is not a difficult match once you start to figure out the meta of the game or the strategy. But the first 3 or 4 times I've tried it, I was getting killed pretty quickly. That's one of the pluses of this game, is that you will understand it pretty fast. That doesn't mean that you will actually complete it as fast. So you essentially are using 5 different characters. So you might be wondering, well, how do you kind of change them from what they were doing initially in a hero shooter into a PvE mode? Well, you are allowed to go up to 40 levels in this zombie mode, and with each level you get an upgrade to one of 2 different abilities per character. So for the best example, because I use him the most, is Punisher. So Punisher initially will use a shotgun or his assault rifle. As you progress in levels, you can add perks to either the shotgun or to the assault rifle. You could essentially add to both, but you run into an issue, and that's one of the first little kind of hiccups in this game, is that you have, I believe, 5 tiers in each of those skill sets. So each character has 2 different skill sets, and you get 5 tiers in each of them. You have to fill up the entire tier to move to the next one. And if you mix and match, well, you're only filling up that first tier on each side. It's kind of like you might want to just focus on one area, which is what a lot of people are doing. I haven't seen people kind of mix and match. I was mostly focusing on only filling up one side and focusing on that. The other thing is, the character that you pick at the start of the game is the character you're going to take to till the end. You can, there can be only up to 4 players per game, but you can all be the same character if you want. There's no limitations on character. It's not like other modes where if you pick this one, like the soccer match, it's not like, if you remember, in the soccer one you can be Iron Fist, you could be Star-Lord, or you can be Black Widow, but you have to pick one of them, and you can't double up or you can't triple up. This one doesn't do that. There could be 4 Punishers, 4 Jeffs, 4 Magics if you want. It doesn't matter. It's however you want to work around your character that you like. Along that same line, each round actually gives you so many points to kind of buy skills. So the skill system is very similar to the Ultron one, where you can add different skills to characters. These ones are going to be specific to your main character, so you can build up skills in one ability or the other, or there's like a general kind of pool of skills that you can add to, so it can up your defense, up your health, up your damage output, or grant you special skills like freezing or continual damage. And they're all going to cost you something, and you refresh the page and you pay the cost. So it's kind of a little bit of a gamble. And then there's like a roulette option that's also available for I saw about 15 points, and you can get the roulette. You can go from getting 5 or 6 top tier skills, or you get a whole 2 uses of that roulette system for free, or you could get 1 very common skill. It is a gamble, and you only have a certain set amount of time to be able to get those skills. And as you up your difficulty, you get less and less time. So back to the main points of the game. As you go from the standard difficulty of normal to nightmare, I believe it's either hard, extreme, and then nightmare. I think at extreme and nightmare, you are only at Avengers Tower, and you're only dealing with waves coming into the central area. You're not even doing the kind of storyline mission anymore. You're just handling wave after wave of creatures and then bosses in between. So for the most part, I found it really fun. I mean, I've had some really good matches. I've had some terrible ones. One of the biggest issues that I've come to find within this game is that people are dropping about halfway through if there's a lot of if there's lag, or if there's just if they're not getting the right skills, because again, like I said, the skills are a gamble. So it kind of makes it kind of tough to really build the character that you kind of want. And that's part of the game mechanic, but it can get kind of frustrating after a while because you're not doing almost any damage depending on how your skills are stacked up. And you don't get a automatic respawn. So you can go into a cooldown of about 12 seconds and then your character will respawn, but they usually tend to respawn in the same area. So if there is a massive amount of zombies, or there are zombies that kind of drop pools of like acid that can inflict damage on you, if you're not able to get out of there in time, you'll just die again. Now, one thing that the game does do is it gives you onks to kind of give you an instant revive, and you on both occasions, using both like the standard revival or the onks, you get about maybe 3 or 4 seconds of invulnerability. But there have been times when I was playing that I would get locked up with other like zombies in there, and it couldn't move, or I would be just kind of jumbled around, and it's like, well, I just used up one for no reason because I just died again within like 2 seconds. So that's up to the devs to kind of figure out and fix at a certain point. I mean, I think it's gotten better. There's been some slight changes, but again, at this point I'm playing at Nightmare 4, so that's like insane amounts of zombies and insane amounts of damage, and it just goes like crazy. But all in all, it's a fun game. It's a free mode for one, and you kind of do some fun stuff. I'm genuinely excited to see where they take it, because it does give you that sense of being a Marvel superhero and doing some like over-the-top amazing stuff. Can it be frustrating? Yes, because there are times when people have disconnected or dropped servers or just dropped, and at a certain point you can't run that game on a really high difficulty solo. Well, I can't. I'm gonna say this: I can't run that game solo, especially if my skills are just not matching up. There's some people that can, they have the right character and they can do it. I haven't taken the time to learn all the characters, so it's also tough for me. I know my characters and I can work with them, but beyond that it gets tough. So I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. It's really enjoyable. It is a fun mode to play, and I am kind of excited to see what they can do later on with other modes in that same kind of aspect. The last dev video that they did, they were talking about, you know, seeing where it can kind of evolve from there. But I mean, it is popular enough that it was a mode that was created for season 4.5 for the fall October time, and got extended another month into season 5. So I mean, it's obviously really popular. So again, giving it a 7 out of 10. And that's my review for Marvel Zombies on Marvel Rivals. And till next time, I will see you guys on the next one.